So what are three things you think of when you hear the word Americana? Warm apple pie?
Warm apple pie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Barbecue?
Barbecue.
Maybe even the fifth studio album from The Offspring? But speaking of West Coast punk bands linked to Americana, let's talk about Social Distortion. Have you ever seen a more awkward segue?
Holy smoke, he's a tomb!
It is time for another Public Perspectives patent pending pre-death tribute. This is where I take a celebrity who isn't dead yet and rank their work from worst to best. This time, I am paying early respects to singer-guitarist Mike Ness, founding member of the California punk rock band Social Distortion. Brought in this world 1962, on April 3rd in Massachusetts, Mike moved to Orange County, California at a very young age. Influenced by groups like the Rolling Stones, Bad Company, and the Sex Pistols, he formed Social D in 1978 and soon recruited his high school friend Dennis Donnell on rhythm guitar. Throughout the early 80s, the band built a following in the West Coast punk rock scene, with constant touring alongside bands like The Adolescents and Youth Brigade. Also, I believe they toured with Bad Religion too. So by the late 80s to early 90s, Mike and the boys were incorporating more country western twang into the group's sound, creating a hybrid known as cowpunk.
It's kind of pretty before it gets started, ain't it?
Soon they were seeing success with singles like Story of My Life, Ball and Chain, and their version of Johnny Cash's song Ring of Fire. Mike has even released 2 solo albums in 1999. Despite this, Social Distortion had experienced setbacks. In the early 2000s, Dennis died from a brain aneurysm at the age of 38, but Mike would have his own health scare in 2023 when he was diagnosed with tonsil cancer. This was one of the reasons there was a 15-year gap before the most recent album, Born to Kill. Fortunately, he made a full recovery, but now it is very possible Mike Ness isn't immortal.
Well, duh.
So, we are going to do a pre-mortem tribute to Mike by ranking all 8 studio albums from Social Distortion from worst to best. And to handle this ranking, I have music writer David Lorbiecke. He's the creator of the site Nobody Asked My Opinion, which specializes in ranking discographies and compiling best of lists, especially in punk rock. So Dave, what is your history with Social Distortion?
My history is basically non-existent. I originally started listening to them. Very, very, very little. And I would give them a chance. And I never liked it. If anyone would ask, what's the most overrated punk band? I would say Social Distortion.
Now he tells us.
And I was like, well, maybe if I listen to these 8 albums, it'll change my mind.
Interesting. We're gonna find out if this has turned Dave around. So what? Let's find out as we get into your list. Starting with number 8, what is the worst album from the band?
I think maybe their worst album is Prison Break, their sophomore release.
Wow. This album is when they were really starting to move towards incorporating the country
Cowpunk
sound into their music a bit. And this album, if the title of the album does not give it away, a lot of songs about prison. It's the Law, Like an Outlaw, obviously the title track as well. But why you have that so low?
I think what it was is that I don't mind country western. I don't even mind like Americana added into the genre and stuff. But this album seemed so on the nose. It's like asking AI right now to be like, hey, give me, 10 song titles that make it sound like, a rock country album. And it's also it's the cowpunk genre in general. The only way I can listen to cowpunk and take it seriously is if the band themselves don't take it seriously. Like the Vandals, the 80s, their albums they were cowpunk, but they knew it was ridiculous.
Like when the Dead Milkmen do it, you prefer that, you're saying?
Yeah, because like it's perfectly fine to do the genre. This is an overarching issue with Social Distortion for me, is that Mike Ness, I feel like he just takes himself too seriously in these lyrics. Because they're just too cheesy.
It ain't easy being cheesy.
Maybe it's coming off as like a storytelling thing, not like it's really what he's gone through.
I don't feel like he's doing anything new. I mean, even looking at like all the album titles, Social Distortion may have the worst album titles of all time. I mean,
lukewarm take, we're gonna say lukewarm, not too hot yet. You can put your hand on it for a second, it won't burn you immediately.
This is also the worst album for me. So, you know,
no, it's the worst album. You're the decider. This is it. He has declared this is the worst album the band has ever done. But it's okay. It's only their second album. They apparently got better, which leads us to number 7.
So number 7, I had Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell, their 92 album.
I think it's equal to another album where it's fine, and a lot of the songs on there is where I start to get kind of like, this kind of sounds mundane here and there.
Yeah.
The song I've heard was Bad Luck. I do like this song, but I could not listen to it ad nauseum. Why is it number 7?
I think that it's too, like, the production is too pristine for the style of music that they're playing. I have no problem with good production. In fact, for a lot of albums, I like good production. I just didn't think it fits the music, and it overall does kind of sound bland. And I think it's also too apparent his inspirations on this. Like, it just doesn't feel like original work that much. I mean, even having a song called Born to Lose, when clearly Mike Ness is a pretty huge Johnny Cash fan.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash already has a song called Born to Lose, and like...
I thought that was a Johnny Thunder's song at first, but it's actually original lyrics. And even like a song that's like, oh, that song is like fast, like Bye Bye Baby, that's cool. But then it's just like, you get kind of bored with it after a while.
There's no surprises on a Social Distortion album. They know their audience, they know their style, or he knows the style at least. And this album is just forgettable, I think, which is one of the worst things for an album to me, is just to be forgettable. I can listen to it, they clearly know how to write songs, they know how to play songs. Again, it had good production, but I don't know. At the end of the day, it was hard to really remember much from this album anytime I would listen to it. I'm also looking, because I didn't take a lot of time to like really look into it, and I didn't realize this album has 2 covers on it. But it's only 10 songs and 2 of them are covers.
I mean, that's way less than the Me First the Gimme album.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on to number 6. What do you got?
Okay, 6. This might be quite controversial as well, and that is Mommy's Little Monster, their debut.
Pardon me?
All you punk fans that were like, going to their shows in '83, says this is like surely gonna be high up there. He's going to explain why the most punk album this band has ever done is so low. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'll say is that it starts off great. What is the opening track on this album? The Creeps. I really like that song. The first thing I thought is that, man, Mike Ness really sounds like Greg Graffin here. So I really like that. But then I felt like almost immediately into like the next song, it was like, oh, this is starting to get pretty boring. So
it's like the title from their documentary, man, Another State of Mind. That documentary wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that song, right?
No, it wasn't that it was bad or anything. The more I would listen to it, the more I would like it. It also cemented a lot of the things that I don't like about his vocals. He does this really, this snarl drawl thing, which I find lazy. Like it's what people who don't know how to sing do. It also, his vocals kind of remind me of Johnny Bonnell from Swingin' Utters as well. I don't know, there's a little bit of that. So I kind of wish he would have sort of maintained the type of singing he did on this album as the production and their musicianship got better. And that's also something I'd have to say, is that I know it's 83 and 80s punk was not a huge scene, so there wasn't a lot to go around, I guess. But the musicianship is it's really amateur at this point. I just wish they were just a little bit better at writing songs at this point. But I get it; it's their debut.
You don't want your first album to be your best anyway, so that makes.
Oh yeah, no artist does. I mean,
Yeah,
if they do, that's a bummer for them.
Let's move on to number 5. What do you got?
So for 5, moved to the last of the 90s. So there was that White Light, White Heat, White Trash album. Also a terrible album name.
Well, it's a tribute to Lou Reed, so that's why I do it.
Is it? Okay, see, this is great, because I don't know the inside elements of any of these. But the first thing I really noticed is his vocals sound different. And I found it quite grating. Again, I'm not really a fan of his vocals anyway, but here it sounded really just off. But oddly enough, the more I would listen to it, the more I started to like it.
He likes it!
It's just maybe a little bit bland. I think it was their last major label release as well. It was kind of like a Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell sequel in a lot of ways. Just a bit better. I think that they just got a little bit better with songwriting.
Yeah, I remember the I Was Wrong single on MTV all the time. Is this album more punk than country western to you?
It's more like rock and roll with a punk edge. Yeah, definitely. I liked Through These Eyes. I thought that was pretty good. I thought the track Untitled is painstakingly boring. In fact, I remember even thinking it's so boring you couldn't even think of a name. But it's I think it does a good job of including both the slow and the mid tempo and having good transitions between them. It's a well put together album.
All right, so we're halfway there, guys. What is your number 4, Dave?
Hard Times and Nursery Rhymes. This I think is the worst album title.
I thought this album would be better than it was. Basically, after hearing that single Far Behind from the Greatest Hits album, I thought they were gonna lean more into that. But this is, I remember this not doing it for me. So maybe I should, now that I'm older, hear it again. So what's so mid about this record?
I think the reason that it's higher on my list and probably lower on a lot of other people's is because I came into it listening to 8 albums basically in a row. And because of that, I found that this album stood out. It is a very country western southern rock sounding, but they kind of gave it its own vibe. If you really want a punk album, it's not that. It's quite tame. But if you actually enjoy that style, I think that they did a good job with it.
All right, we are in the top 3, everybody. And what do you got?
So I've heard a lot of opinions about this one, but I actually found their newest album, Born to Kill, was pretty enjoyable. I knew about the throat surgery, tonsil, and I knew about how long it had been since they had released an album.
1 million, zillion, jillion, dillion, cotillion times later.
And it didn't sound like it had been a long time. I wasn't crazy about it when I first heard it, but the more I would listen, the more I'd be like, no, this is pretty solid. I think it does a good job of sort of capturing the legacy of the band. I have one huge critique about it. I mean, they did this cover of Wicked Game, and which, I mean, for one, it seems so pointless. Like, why do we need a cover of them? They're just doing it. And then I'm also like, why are you putting a cover? I mean, you took so long to release the album. You're throwing a cover. I mean, and I'm also someone who, if you're gonna do a cover, don't do a popular song, or if you do a popular song, make it your own.
It's almost like if Limp Bizkit just did Faith exactly the same way, you know?
It's
why
just
are
not
we doing
interesting.
It? Yeah, you can do it live,
it's like,
but don't do it and record it.
Yeah, or if you record it, I also would have not a problem if it's a bonus track.
All right, number 2 we're gonna get into, and I know all you out there that are fans have your fingers crossed that it's gonna be a particular album with number 2. Let's see if Dave does it. What is your number 2 album?
So I don't know if people are gonna like this at all. Number 2 is self-titled.
Damn!
Okay,
but I
guys.
do think I think 1 and 2 are, again, out of their discography. What I have for 1 and 2 is the clear 1 and 2. In this album, it was surprisingly good based on it being the first major. But yeah, I felt like everything from the first two albums they just improved on. The songwriting was so much better. They gained a good knack for melodies, for like catchy riffs. I mean, obviously, like I think it's probably still their two biggest songs. It's like "Story of My Life" and "Ball and Chain," right?
Yeah,
and yeah, like just like the whole
too.
album. That's probably my biggest critique of it. Actually, is that cover of it. I think it's because it's so clear listening to their music that Ness is so inspired by Johnny Cash. I find it so annoying that he would do a cover of it. Like, I feel like your music is already sort of doing a cover of Johnny Cash music. And once again, if you're going to do a cover, why do Ring of Fire, like one of his most popular songs? He has so many great songs. I don't know. I just felt like that was such a weak pick. And honestly, to me, the worst thing about that album. But other than that, yeah, it does rockabilly, rock and roll kind of punk, bluesy sort of thing.
So, everybody, he's going to explain why the #1 album from Social Distortion is
Sex, Love, and Rock and Roll.
Like you said, not the best title, but
not a good title.
It is the best title.
Yeah, for me, it was just so obvious. It was the first off of the major, and man, the songs are good. Like, they're really punky, they're fast. I love the production on it, and I think Johnny Two Bags is such a good guitarist for Mike Ness. Like, I just feel like they work so well together. Where a lot of the songs were quite simplistic before, man, like, I don't know, there's like some really good soloing. It just, yeah, they just blend together so well. I don't know if this album is, well liked by Social Distortion fans, but to me, it's just, if I had heard this album first, I probably would have then gone out and listened to the rest of their stuff. I think it's just a clear step above the rest of their material.
First album without Dennis, but yeah, the opening track, "Reach for the Sky," is like, okay, this is like what I want to hear from Social D. That song is punk as hell, man. The backing vocals and everything like that, which is what I think one of the things that they do great when they harmonize the vocals. He made a great argument as to why that one might be better than their self-titled.
I think that that opening track, "Reach for the Sky," that actually may be my favorite Social Distortion song that I've heard. But Highway 101 immediately after, I think that's the best he's sounded vocally on any song. Again, it's quite punky if you want like the more punky, but it still of course has the rock and roll and everything else. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a solid album.
All right, so now from when we started to now, after listening to 8 albums by them, have you been converted?
I am delivered!
I would say that I'm a casual fan now, and I now can say they have at least 2 albums that I think are quite good.
That'll do.
So now, time for the eulogy. So, Mike Ness, you are a working class husband, father, granddad, collector of vintage paraphernalia, and an icon of the Southern California punk rock scene. You once sang, "When the angel of death comes for me, I hope I was everything I was supposed to be." And I would say you definitely were that and more. So all you aging punks who once chugged cheap lagers in the back alleys, but now sip classy Chardonnay in your suburban cul-de-sac, pour some out for the eventual passing of Mr. Michael James Ness.
Like and subscribe, folks.